Let's be real, nobody ever wants to think about being in a car collision. It's one of those chaotic, high-stress moments we all hope to avoid. But here's the thing, knowing exactly what you're supposed to do can bring a sense of calm to that chaos. It can protect you, both legally and financially. So let's dive right into this crucial procedure. That sound, that sudden jolt, it happens so fast. Your mind just starts racing, right? What do I do? Where do I even begin? In this explainer, we are going to walk through this, step by step, to turn that moment of panic into a clear, manageable plan. You know, the best way I've found to think about a collision is to picture it like a hard drive crash. Your car is the computer, the system, and it's just stopped working. So your job isn't to freak out. It's just start a logical recovery process. It's all about recovering the data, filing the right crash report, and making sure the system administrator doesn't revoke your access to the network, making sure you get to keep your license. So let's start right at the beginning. What you need to do in those first few seconds and minutes right after the impact. These are, without a doubt, the most critical moves you're going to make. Okay, think of it as 4 immediate steps. First, and this is non-negotiable, you have to stop. Leaving the scene is a hit and run, and the legal penalties are severe. Second, check on yourself and your passengers. Are there any injuries? That is your absolute first priority. Third, call 911. If anyone is hurt or, God forbid, killed, you call immediately. And fourth, and listen, this is a big if no one is hurt and it's safe, move your vehicles out of the traffic lanes to prevent a follow-up accident. Now, what about a couple of tricky situations? Say you hit a parked car and the owner is nowhere to be found. You can't just drive off. The law says you have to leave a note, securely, with your name, phone number, and address. And then you still need to report it to the police. And if you hit an animal, your instinct might be to help, but don't try to move it. The best thing you can do is call law enforcement or the local humane society.
All right, once the scene is safe, we're back to our hard drive recovery analogy. It's time to gather the essential data. And remember, this isn't just a courtesy, it's a legal requirement.
You're legally required to be able to show 4 key items to the other driver and any police officer who arrives. That's your driver's license, your vehicle registration card, your current address, and proof of your financial responsibility, which means your insurance. Seriously, having these organized and ready to go in your glove box will make a very stressful situation just a little bit easier. And here is a super important detail that trips a lot of people up. Your proof of insurance can't just be some random card from your insurer. It absolutely must show 2 things: the name of the insurance company and your specific policy number. Without both of those, it's not considered valid proof. Okay, so the scene is secure, you've exchanged all your info. Now comes the part everyone loves, the paperwork. And this is where it can get a little confusing because you might actually have to file 2 completely separate reports. Let's break this down. First, there's the report to law enforcement. If anyone at all is injured or killed, you have 24 hours to make sure a report is filed with the police or CHP. Then, there's a totally separate report for the DMV. It's called the SR1 form. You have to file this within 10 days if property damage is over $1,000 or if anyone was injured. See that overlap? An injury means you're dealing with both reports. $1,000. That's the magic number. And with modern cars and all their sensors and cameras in the bumpers, even a minor-looking fender bender can easily cost more than $1,000 to fix. So it's really easy to cross this reporting threshold. And don't forget this deadline. You have just 10 days from the collision to get that SR1 form to the DMV. They are very, very strict about this, and missing it has serious consequences. Okay, everybody lean in for a second, because if you only remember one thing from this whole explainer, please make it this. Even if the police show up, take notes, and file their own report, they do not file that DMV SR1 form for you. Filing it is 100% your responsibility.
And the penalty for not doing it isn't just a small fine, it's a big deal. If that SR10 form is required and you fail to file it on time, the DMV will suspend your driver's license. It's an automatic penalty, plain and simple. This all leads us to the final, and you could argue, most important piece of this puzzle: financial responsibility. In California, that means having car insurance. And the penalties for not having it, well, they're severe.
So let's quickly run through the absolute minimum coverage you need to be legal on the road here. Your policy has to cover at least $15,000 for property damage, $30,000 for a single person's injury or death, and $60,000 if more than one person is hurt. And remember, these are just the legal minimum.
So what happens if you get into an accident and you don't have insurance? Well, California has a special penalty that applies no matter whose fault the accident was. If you're uninsured, you're going to face the consequences. And that consequence is a potential license suspension of up to 4 years. I mean, just let that sink in. Someone could blow through a red light and T-bone you. The accident is 100% their fault, but if you don't have insurance, you could lose your license for up to 4 years. That's how seriously the state takes financial responsibility.
I know that was a lot of information, so let's boil it all down into the most important points, your post-collision checklist, simplified.
So here's your cheat sheet. 1. Any collision with an injury or over $1,000 in damage has to be reported. 2. Always stop and exchange that key information. 3. Remember, it is you, not the police, who has to file that SR1 report with the DMV within 10 days. And 4. Driving without insurance can get your license suspended for years, even if you did nothing wrong to cause the crash. So we'll end on this thought. You now know the procedure. You have the knowledge to handle this stressful situation correctly, but that's only half the battle. The other half is being prepared. So the real question is, right now, is your valid proof of insurance with the company name and policy number sitting in your glove box, or is it buried deep in your email inbox somewhere? Knowing that answer before you need it could make all the difference.